What up, what up? Welcome to another episode of Musicians Rewind. Today, special episode. I got my fam on, my two cousin brothers, Marcus and Marvin Lewis. What's up, yo?
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
Good, man. So glad I can have y'all on. So, like I start with everybody now, this is different because we go way back since we was little. But so y'all play multiple instruments, but so for Marv, I know, was drums your first instrument?
Are we talking band or are we just talking?
Just in general.
No, well, first instrument was the French horn.
Okay, see? Oh, that's right. You know what? I do remember you having that at the house now.
Yeah, man.
French horn. All right, Marcus. Was keys your original instrument?
Nah, drums.
Drums, okay.
Yes,
How
started
come I didn't know
on
that?
drums. I started on drums.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So Marv,
Yes, sir.
tell us about this French horn.
I only took it because I couldn't get the trumpet.
Okay, so you wanted to play trumpet.
Yeah, I wanted to play trumpet, saxophone. You know, it was in junior high school, so you wanted to play the cool instruments.
Uh-huh.
And I got the French horn. I played it for a little while. You know, I didn't really like it.
Any performance? Like school performance?
I did two school performances with it. And you know, it was in band, so it was
right. So we talking junior high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, junior high school. Definitely junior high school.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So Marcus, now you started
Yes, sir.
playing drums in church, right?
Yeah, but I started playing in church, but in school, in elementary school, like
Okay,
same
I
thing
know
though.
that.
I was trying to play the saxophone, couldn't get it. Trying to play the trumpet, like I could still play one or two songs on the trumpet, but my lip just was no good. And one time after band rehearsal, I was just fooling around playing the drums, and the band teacher was like, "Who's that in there playing?" I'm like, me. He's like, "You never told me you play drums? That's it. You put out when you play drums."
And what grade? What grade?
This was fifth grade.
Fifth grade. So you
Fifth
at
grade,
fifth
yeah.
grade, where was you at?
PS 15.
15, okay.
We had just moved to St. Albans.
Okay. So you was playing the kit.
I'm still on board.
You was playing the kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was playing for the band. We had like a little jazz band. Matter of fact, we played one time. I believe you was either you had just Nona Hendrix was walking through the airport, and we were actually in the airport in Kennedy Airport performing.
Wow.
And she gave us an autograph. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
In fact, I believe I still have it at my pop's house.
Oh man, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah,
Marv,
she happened to be coming through. She's like, "Yeah, what band is that?" It was cute.
wow. So okay, so French horn, you're in junior high school. What did you move to?
What did I move to after that? This instrument? What?
Yeah.
No other instrument in high school.
Okay, so you wasn't playing at all.
No, not in high school. I mean, the church I started playing drums.
Right, okay. So you started playing drums.
Yeah. Drums probably was first. Than any other instrument. Right. I was always trying to get on your set.
Right.
Yo, I would sneak and get on Kev's set, and I look before I get on there, right? I look to see how everything is set up, make sure I act the exact same.
Because you know I'm going to know.
Kev, come in the house. Who's on my set? I was like, yo, how does he know? Yo, but a high point for me playing drums and a big influence was one time I was downstairs playing your drums, and Kev Harper came to the window. He came down there or something. He's like, "That was you?
Oh, wow.
I thought that was Kev." I was like, "What?" said that.
Wow.
Thought I was
Eb Harper, man.
Yeah.
Another sax player, / guitar player from around the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark, from elementary school, did you keep playing drums? And once you got into junior into 59?
Actually, I played 1 year, and then after that, I stopped because then it was mostly they didn't have a jazz band.
Okay.
And it was just the one drum, the marching band, and I could still play the snare. I could hang with these guys, but it was boring.
Right.
So I left it alone in school.
Right. So
because either I was going to play the bass or I had to play the snare in the marching band. I didn't enjoy that.
So now, so we're gonna move now. When did you move into keys?
That was in junior high school too. That's because we were in church and sometimes there was no keyboard player, so playing drums for devotion and no keyboard player, it didn't work. And then my mother singing "If It Had Not Been for the Lord on My Side, Where Would I Be?" That's the first song I learned. But she was singing every funeral we went to.
Wow. So Marv, were you playing drums and Marcus was playing keys at church?
Say it again.
Were you playing drums and Marcus was playing keys at church?
Yes.
Okay,
when he was playing keys, yeah.
Right.
I was still playing drums.
All right. So when did y'all switch? When did you get interested in the keys?
I always was interested in keys because I always liked to make songs. I like to do songs. So I had a keyboard and I could figure some stuff out and just mess around on the keyboard a little bit. But I didn't start fluently playing until Marcus left. I was playing drums for Marcus. I had actually really started back playing drums. I had stopped playing drums for a while. I started back in like 1999. And I was playing with Marcus. And Marcus left, about 5 years after that, Mark?
Yeah.
He left.
I don't remember what year it was. A couple of years, yeah.
It was a few years. And I could play a few songs, but I had to step up because the pastor, who was Pastor Ward, he said, "You the new keyboard player." I was like, "Pastor Ward, I could play 2 songs, man. We're going to do 2 songs every Sunday." And he said, "God told me you the new keyboard player." So I had to get into it. And Marcus taught me everything I know, man, pretty much. He taught me everything I know. I went hard and really got in there and just started practicing. And Marcus showed me some chords, man, and just went from there.
Yeah, I can remember that coming off the road and finding that about that, because I remember coming to your spot and you was like into the practice 24 hours, man, with a small break. You was like, "Yeah, I got to learn how to play these tunes in every key."
Yeah, man.
I was like, wow. So now backing up a little bit, were y'all playing keys and drums at TDC or at the same time?
No, when I kind of left TDC, I was still playing drums, really. I could play a couple of songs on keys, but I was really fluently playing drums. I didn't get fluent until with Mark.
So Mark, when you left TDC, you went where?
That's when I actually went and started playing for Baptist Church. And matter of fact, I think that's when I went to Ward. That's when I started playing for Ward. That's when Timothy started playing. I left Timothy there. And I believe I started playing, I think what was the first? Yeah, I mean, I was playing at different churches helping out, but the next assignment was United, the church where Marvin took over from me from.
Right. Now, did you play at all in high school, keys or anything? No, you was at Bayside, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, high school, yes. Oh, for me, I actually had a gospel chorus in Bayside.
Okay.
And we we did a couple of concerts. It was pretty cool. I do remember though, I did play in junior high school. I did play in one piano recital because again, fooling around on the keyboard, and I took Mary Had a Little Lamp, and I just started playing like some jazz chords. Like I took the song and just jazzed it up and put a couple of passing chords in and out of it. And I ended up playing that in the piano recital because, I started off playing it the regular way with one finger.
Right.
And then just jammed out on it. But that's the only keyboard I did in junior high school. And then high school was just, we ended up doing the gospel chorus.
Right.
And that's only because we got a teacher to stay after school with us on her own time, marking. She would be in the back marking. As long as she was in the room with us, we were good.
Right.
She'd be marking tests and doing some work. And we rehearsed. She gave us 40 minutes after school. We'd have to get in here.
So on that note, the influence coming like what keyboard players were y'all listening to? Because, Marcus don't come out the same as me and Marv. I had Marv listening to Fusion, so he knew the Chick Coreas and Herbies and
George
those guys. Right. Coming up. But in the gospel circuit, like who were y'all listening to? Because I know Marcus, I heard around that you had became that dude.
Nah, man.
Early on, So
yes.
Like who would y'all listen to? Like Mark, who would you listen to in the circuit that maybe that you would see playing around when you was going to different churches? Like who was like big influence?
Who you sat next to, bro?
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, in the early days, like Marv said, I was sitting next to Fred and, him playing and, of course, Rod and these guys, I picked up stuff from them. But as I got out there, when I got out there, like we had Donnie McKirkland would be teaching Triborough mass choir songs. And, my mother would be like, her favorite line was teach my baby something. So I would just sit there and watch them. Listening to them play, listening to
who was the keyboard player? Right, Banks. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, watching Ronald Banks and them go back and forth. But then I got Hezekiah Walker would not record. He was rehearsing in the back of Pleasant Grove, which is Bishop Albert Jameson's church. Right. So Triborough Mass Choir will be in the sanctuary. I go to rehearsal with my mother, and then I go in the back where Hezekiah and them were rehearsing and watch Stanley Brown and them play.
Okay.
Between him, Nate, watching them play, Nate McNair. Because back then they had that jump, the songs that made Hezekiah Walker famous in the beginning. Those songs I learned directly from these guys, Stanley Brown, and just watching them play it over and over. So and then as it progressed on, you started to see who else was it? Help me out, Marv.
David Frazier,
that's right. I forgot about this. Thank you. Because I was playing for Evangelistic and with Bishop Lymus Johnson. And then, that's another thing too. I can't leave out Michael Rogers. His influence, he influenced me, especially my organ feel. You listen to Bush Haywood and all these guys too, but I love the way Michael Rogers would back his father up. Huey Rogers, Bishop Huey Rogers. That's where I got that preaching chord, that organ feel, listening to that. And but then, like Marvin said, David Frazier, the churches would go back and forth. So I'd be there, we'd be at Bible Way. Bible Way would come to Evangelistic. So I got to sit there with David Frazier. And, David took a liking to me. And he's like, look, next time I come here, I'm going to play a shout in the key of E. The key of E is not an easy key to play. Most people play in the black keys. E is one of the white keys that most people don't like. If you say E with most church musicians, you'll see a frown on their face. So he says, I'm going to play a shout in E. If you can't follow me, then I'm not going to help you with anything. So when he came back, I was ready to jam a shot in E with no problem.
Right.
And then remember that song In the Name of Jesus? He taught it to me in E flat. And it was one of the baddest songs out. And especially the way he played it in the cuts that he put in it. So, you know, some different guys like that. I mean, like I said, Dave Rogers, those were the hot cats out then, you know, and Nate McNair, Stanley Brown.
Right. So Marv, let me ask you, because now you playing in the gospel world, but again, what you had over, I think most of the cats is you came up listening to Fusion with me.
Yes, sir.
So like just hearing, like what cats did you hear that might have had some of that influence?
In the gospel world?
Yeah, in the gospel world. Like from the early days. I know now a lot of them got hip to it, but like early on, was you hearing anybody like going, "Oh, okay, this guy knows who Return to Forever is," and because you know that was my thing. I was trying to find that, like, where those cats at?
Right. So first would be like first it would be, I guess, Willa Mix, because that was the first like type stuff I heard.
Yeah, I definitely know he comes from that.
I guess I can't really. I think Leon Bryant used to get down like that too. Leon Bryant, and I also would have to add Rodney in there, man. Rodney Truitt, man. Like,
yeah.
Rodney was doing stuff back
yeah.
then, like no other, man. And actually, I remember Nate coming to True Deliverance. Since you mentioned McNair, he came to True Deliverance, and what's his name? Archie.
Archie.
Archie was his drummer. Miss Sheila's son, Archie, who God rest his soul, he passed away. Him and Nate used to come over to True Deliverance sometimes and jam out. And Archie had a good foot, man. He had a nice foot.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how I was in Sam Ash just jamming out. And you know how two musicians are in there, you go back and forth. Going back and forth with this cat, just going back and forth. And we start talking, and it's Archie's son.
Wow.
Believe it. It was Steph, what's the name on? Clay.
Yeah, Stephen. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays over there. Yep.
And I just met up with him in guitar. We didn't know each other from nothing, man. And then I was like, yo, man, your pops was like my best friend coming up, man.
Wow.
We really started talking it, man.
So as far as musicianship right now in the church, like what's y'all opinion? Marv, I'll start with you.
Man, I mean, these cats they're doing some good stuff, but a lot of them think they're coming up with new stuff or they're inventing stuff. But this is stuff that you hit me to back in the early '80s or early set. What was it? Early '80s,
'70s, yeah, early '80s, late '70s.
Yeah, and just like the Corey Henrys and with the Sharky Puppy, that sounds like
Snarky Puppy, yeah.
That sounds like Maha Bishop Orchestra stuff to me, like that, or some of the early stuff. But
yeah,
I think man, they're doing a lot of great things. Everybody know Lil Glenn Glipson Jr.
Yeah, he doing his thing.
Doing his thing. That little cat cut me up at 12 years old, man.
Yeah, he's a gifted dude, man. Because meeting him, he was 6 playing drums.
Right.
And what I liked about him was his passion, though. Like it meant everything to him.
Yes.
To play them drums. And I was like, wow, I remember that. I can remember being like that. Like all that mattered was playing drums.
Yeah, man.
And he would come, Glenn would bring him And I think I missed a couple of years. Next thing I know, he was on keyboards.
Yeah, man.
I was like, wow, when did that happen? So, Mark, what's your view on that? As far as
I mean, well, just to pick up right there from Glenn. Glenn has gotten a lot of stuff, like you said, from his parents. So he's helped, like a lot of these young cats look up to him, and he's given them more of the old school stuff.
Okay.
But like Marv was saying, to them, it's new to them.
Yeah.
But it's the same. You could tell he listens to old school stuff. He probably came up with it between his parents and listening to because the same way with Corey Henry, with the fusion, the Chick Corea stuff, and like one of Corey's greatest things he was when he played with Chick Corea. They did some stuff together. He was like, that was one of the biggest honors, for him to be able to play along with him and play his stuff. And I think these guys listening to Glenn and Corey is making them now get some real, what we would call real music, because a lot of the stuff they were playing for a while, before Glenn and Corey came out, it was simple stuff, and they thought it was so hot. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Even back to Marv, like you had brought up earlier in the conversation that we had previously about that beat that Milt would play all the time. We used to laugh at it, and now it's like the funkiest beat out to some of these guys, and we're like, what?
Yeah, man. I was like,
some of the stuff we viewed corny, and then it goes back to a lot of the stuff like, Kev, you would tell me and Marv early on when we would do recordings with you that we're playing so much, like we done played like 3 songs in all the different chords and progression, because we grew up listening to that type of stuff. But these new guys, like when me and Marv, was it Kurt? We was in that band with Kurt for a little while. Oh, was playing the bass. Yeah, we were in this R&B band for a little while. And
get out of here! Wait a minute.
It was so boring.
Right?
You didn't know about that?
No, I didn't know nothing about that. Because I was going to ask y'all that. Did you ever play outside the gospel realm? I was going to ask you that.
Kev,
because I know I stayed going a lot.
I had tape, man. It was so clear. And Kirk borrowed it and never gave it back to me. I'm so mad. Sandra was singing a lot of Stephanie Mills stuff.
Really?
Oak was playing the bass. Mark was playing. Kirk was playing guitar. Mark was playing keys. And that night, she was killing, singing deeper and all that.
Right.
Oh, the whole band was killing, man. I want to almost look for him and try to get my tape back.
And it was what y'all was playing out?
We did. No. We were playing out, but we never did. I don't think we ever did anything with Sandra, but we did
like a little barbecue thing or something we did.
We did the wedding. We did that wedding.
Oh yeah, we did do a wedding. That's right. Okay. I forgot about that.
That's still on videotape somewhere. That's still on videotape. I sang at it. I was out.
I didn't know nothing about that. So it was you, Marcus. Now, what did the other guy play?
Marcus played keys. Kirk played guitar. Owen played bass.
Owen from 193rd?
From next door. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that's what you was talking about. Rest in peace to Owen, man. We lost him like last year or something.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep, Owen passed.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Mark, as far as let's talk about, so as keyboard players, the difference in playing a praise and worship tune according to the industry and a gospel tune, because the reality is we know at one time that's how they were separating it by color without saying that. Anytime you saw a gospel, that means it was black artists, and when you saw a Christian, that means it was the white artist.
Right. That's right.
Then it just became the praise and worship.
Right.
Was the white artist.
Mm-hmm.
As far as playing that, is there there's particular keys, I guess like pop music and R&B music, they tend to be in certain keys.
Yeah, well, The praise and worship, as they would call it, or the we call it the Hillsong,
Okay.
but they it's just we call it the 6-5-4, and those just the number system. It's like three chords that's going to be in every song.
Okay.
Those three chords are played. Now, how you play them, how you place them, but those are the three worship and praise chords for that set.
Like
but
2-5-1 in jazz. There's
right,
2-5-1,
exactly.
yeah.
Right. Yep. We've adapted that now. A lot of people are, putting it in there, but still, when you're doing regular, as we would call it, black church, they'll take those 6-5-4, but then, like you said, throw a 2-5-1 in there as well, and add some more stuff to it. So to answer your question, it's much easier to play that type of music, and but one thing I can say too about that worship and praise, this new stuff, is you have to be very disciplined.
Right. Yeah.
And our regular gospel music and a slow song, there's more feeling in it, but you're freer to add stuff to it as well as you feel it.
Right.
Yeah.
Marv, so let me ask you now, because like once you started going out and playing in different churches, so then you really comfortable with your playing, because again, I gotta say to both of y'all, us going that far back, to see that by the time I started going on the road, I could remember the level that y'all were at, and by the time I started coming back around, y'all had like taken off. Like Marv, you wasn't even really playing keyboards.
Nah.
At the time. I remember you would always, fool around with some chords.
You're right.
And I remember telling you, I said, yo, you can play with both hands now. And all of that. And I never got to that level of playing keys. I could play the right. I could play the right my stuff. But never that level that I saw you just like from drums and all right, I'm gonna play keys and tell you, man, the both of y'all, for Marcus with the drums and the keys, and I'm like, man, I said I got left behind because to this day I still can't play a chord with my left hand. I can get that root note.
Yeah, you can, man.
Just practice.
Yeah, but it's always like the way I saw you. I mean, I know it wasn't easy, but it looked like you did it with ease, especially when you had to take over for Marcus. The discipline to stay home and learn that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
He definitely went in.
Yeah.
That discipline and
necessity.
For me, man, it's all God, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. It's definitely an anointing that is sent from heaven above, man, from God Himself, to actually to allow me to play in the way that I play, man. I mean, practice too, man. But I'm telling you, man, it's that if you don't believe, if nobody believes there's a God, there is a God. I'm gonna tell you right now, because it's all God.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, man. That was definitely something to see. So again about so let's say like in the churches now, so not even talking about industry and recording. No, actually I want to ask you about that. What do y'all think about the present? Now I'm gonna say the presentation, because I know it's all in the lyrics. I never really been too concerned about the music, because that's just notes. But in today's gospel, I think it's the presentation that kind of makes me go, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. A lot of it is crazy, bro. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, I understand it's one thing to want to attract young people and and get them into it, but it's another thing, and like you said, how you present yourself.
Right.
I don't think it's old school. I just think it's proper. Like you can't be up there praising God and still in attracting lust, spitting out lust to me. You looking just like R&B artists, or like you said, with less clothes, and even my man Kirk, I think, does a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I love
he does a little too much,
but there's worse than that. It's crazy, man. And it's like you said, I'll be looking for that word Jesus sometimes. Like,
right.
Let me hear you say Jesus, because like you said, who are you worshiping? Right. Some of the people, man, and it's scary. It's scary to me sometimes, bro. The music, I like, more uppity beat music. I'm into that.
Right.
As long as your lyrics.
Right, because really that's where it is. That's going to be the difference. Because, depending on your era, at one time all the gospel sounded like blues. Because, right, like Marcus, what you just talked about, that chord progression.
That's big.
That chord progression. Right, but that chord progression, that's what they was using. And blues, the blues and gospel was the same chord progression. Where was the difference? In what they were singing about.
And it's changed so much because, well, first of all, as we know, Lucifer, because people say Satan, Satan just means adversary. That could be anything.
Right.
But Lucifer, that was his job, was the music.
It was music, exactly.
Yeah. So, and it's so easy for it to be, misconstrued or changed around. I mean, old song, who was that? The dude, My Life is Incomplete. What was his name? Cisco, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah. The same keys to that. If you played that, they're both in C sharp. That song, even though it seems I have everything, and if you go, I know somehow, I know some way, we're gonna make it. It's the same exact chords, bro, just a different bass line.
And what would make sense is because they came out of the church.
Right, and that's what I was ready to say. Yep. Just like was it Joe? What's the boys that did the song? I will never find Casey and JoJo. I will never find another lover.
Right, they straight out of church too.
No, straight.
That's Thank You, Lord. If you play that song and think about Thank You, Lord, it's the same chords. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important, the words. And I said that first because I take it back to to my mother.
Right.
We would have prayer and people got saved in
rehearsals. Yep.
And we sung songs and we talked about what the song means so that we can sing it,
right,
with conviction.
With understanding.
We knew understanding where it is because she let us know we are singing the word of God.
Right.
We're preaching to the people through song. We're ministering in song. And a lot of people say that it sounds good, it sounds holy, but you got to, we had to know the scriptures and why this song was written. We've gotten so far away from that. But if we had just a touch of that and understand the importance of it and what we're singing, and that we're singing the word of God, then it would have a different meaning to it. And we've lost that. Like you said, say, him or God or Lord, but people don't want to say Jesus.
Right. And Marv, like you had mentioned earlier, and I had said about era, because every era has had a complaint against them musically.
Yeah.
And something as far as back as let's go when we was younger, when they did Oh Happy Day in the style that Edward did it.
Yeah.
The church was losing their minds. Like, oh, that black missing Bob. So that always comes along with any time people change something. And I got nothing against that. Because again, that had nothing to do with presentation to me. That was just somebody's how they heard it. Bro. So when Andre Crouch came in, you knew he heard the flack. You knew he got it because he was probably the most progressive person. The modern day gospel we got now comes from Andre Crouch.
Yes, sir.
Because again, musically, Andre was using studio cats.
I'm working on a sermon where I want to do something about the music. It goes back as far as Thomas Dorsey. I'm gonna tell you who was. I'm just gonna name him Kirk Franklin. Thomas Dorsey was a Kirk.
Right.
Cleveland was a Kirk Franklin.
Right.
Andre Crouch like you said, was and the Walter and even the Hawkins.
The Hawkins, yeah.
Was a Kirk Franklin who I'm just using him because that's what I remember. He really dominated and when he changed music because he started mixing stuff with other stuff. But way back when Thomas Dorsey came out, they said his music was too worldly. And if you listen to that music right now, you go, what?
Right, exactly.
Because of the era.
Of the era. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We listen to that, we go, what? What are y'all talking about?
That's the music, right? That was the bluesy music in that era. And he blended it in with the gospel, man. And every era, man, and it has to evolve, though. It has to evolve.
And every era has done that.
Well, now they're more like Mark was saying in how in our rehearsals with Mom, people got saved because we sang to really, really praise God.
Right.
Now
it wasn't a job.
They're singing for entertainment. They're changing the gospel into entertainment, man, and that's what's really.
And I feel that they're going the other way. You're supposed to be drawing in. The world is drawing you. You trying to emulate the world instead of the other way. And that's what we're seeing.
You're 100%.
And that reminds me of John P. Key also. And one thing I loved about John's ministry, he's still doing it, but one of the things he said, I would take my bus and go to the same clubs I used to go party in, and we'll do a concert in the parking lot right there, singing to those that are coming out the club.
Right.
Going back to try to now pull somebody back from where, like, I know where you've been because I've been there.
Right.
And even like he would mix stuff in there, like in one of the songs, he mixed a little bit of Outstanding. He'll play a little bit of it and then go back to what he was doing just to get their attention.
But he kept the words. Listen to the lyrics.
He kept the words. But the words, there you go. That's what I was going to say.
And he's always kept his sound a mix of traditional. He never really left so far that it's like, is that an R&B tune or what? He always kept it.
Right. You knew it was gospel.
Right.
And like you said, one of you said, he was the first one I really heard to say music is an attention getter.
It is. Yep.
Yes.
I want to get their attention.
Got their attention.
The word.
Give them the word. Right. Yep. That's what I'm saying. I don't really knock the music part of it. It's presentation to me that's dangerous with these videos and stuff and what they show these kids. That's the dangerous part.
And what I was going to say before is a lot of these guys, the stuff that they're trying to sample and reuse, we were there when it was created.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The stuff that they're sampling.
That's right.
Yeah. They think they're telling us something. We're like, that's not even how the song go.
Right.
It's just a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like again, man, that's the thing. Y'all being older again, we've been around since the Howard Tumas and
yes, sir.
Seen a lot of keyboard players. So, y'all been around a long time to see how things have evolved. So, y'all would know. That's the thing. I know a lot of the younger cats, they'll look at the older dudes and like right away they tell me, oh, they just hating. It's like, ain't nobody hating, bro, but I seen this before. Like you said, Mark. I seen this.
Right.
Like you said, Marcus, y'all, this is not original. And I'm not telling you that you ain't blessed and you can't play, but I seen this before. I was here when Bernard Wright was 13 years old. I've heard that. There's other prodigies out our neighborhood that we heard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, because you don't see me doing backflips over you, that's nothing for you to get mad about. I've heard it before, but yes, you are really blessed at what you do.
The foundation from where you coming from, we've heard.
Right, because we've been around, again, we've been around, blessed to be around that long. That's like hearing a sax player, but you came up listening to Coltrane and Charlie Parker. Dude, there's nothing you're going to play for me. You know what I'm saying? You a great sax player, but there's nothing you're going to play for me that's going to have me doing flips. It's just not.
Yeah.
Coltrane and Parker,
but
I've heard it.
Man,
but also too with the technology.
Right. Yeah.
The technology. I mean, you got these guys that won't touch an organ. because they need the keyboard, because they need certain sounds, they need to, the transposer, do this, do that, but yet they want to be held like they're the king. And I'm like, no. And I mean, I get, you can see it also too, Kev, all the stuff you was doing before double pedals came out, double two bass and all this stuff, just doing the triplets with,
with
just
floor time
having the technique with your foot and the timing with the floor time, right. And how these guys got these double pedals and they looking like, yeah, of course you do. You got both feet moving. You got two hi-hats. You got,
Right.
So,
you got all that stuff. I'm like, dude, we came up with church. We was lucky if there was a hi-hat.
Yes. Thank you. So I'm saying the stuff y'all were able to do with that, these guys got all of this equipment and they're barely keeping up with what you did with a three-piece.
What do y'all think about the recording process as keyboard players and as drummers? Like I always say, recording is a different animal than playing live.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I love the recording process, but it's to be honest, it's a little harder for me because I'm not used to doing it as much. But it gives you a lot of space to create, the creativity. And that's what I love, the creativity that you have in the studio.
Right. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a whole lot better now because I've been playing with a click track more. And, as we had said before, I can remember a time when I first started recording stuff with you and it was like a whole different world. It was like, what the heck?
Me too.
But now the process, playing with click tracks more, playing with, and you have to stay in the pocket with it. It's made it a lot easier. Then making a couple of tracks because I couldn't be in two places at once.
Right.
With some of the people I've been playing with, that made it, just playing around with even GarageBand.
Right.
Made it a lot, it's like once you learn how to do something, it's no longer intimidating. So now it becomes easy because now you're used to it. You're like, okay, you know the layout. So it's
So
come a long way.
What do y'all think about the like using the technology in church? I mean, it's about it's another musical element, but I'm sure there's probably some people in the church that didn't want that at first. Seeing laptops, so being able to bring that to the church world, because again, from when we started, we was lucky to have an organ and drums to where now with that you could really make the production sound so much bigger because you can still play live but have a string arrangement and have all of that going on, things that choirs may not even be used to. Like, wow, we can sound like this now. He's like, yeah, I can have 10 dudes in the band and ain't but two of us up here.
Yeah, man, that's it evolving again, man, and crazy, man. It's wonderful, man. If it's used correctly, man, I think it's great, man. As long as it's not too robotic.
Right.
But I want to say this real quick. Back. And when I first, in 2000, I guess around 2000, when was it, Mark? When I first fluently, Mark took a keyboard and Mark used to he used to play on a disc because I had a keyboard with a disc.
Right.
To put the
M1,
disc.
floppy disc.
The keyboard would be playing and I had the choir singing and I'm playing the drums. But how we did it was when he recorded it, I went back to how I first started playing drums, playing with wooden hands and just keeping the beat on a chair or something.
Right.
Mark kept the beat and it worked out perfect, man. It worked out perfect for a while. Yeah. Like we started doing that way before they even started doing click tracks, man.
Mark, we were doing it right in the keyboard.
He recorded the song on the floppy disk and I just pressed the button, played the drums to it, and have them sing in the correct spots.
Yeah. And I would think the technology, especially for, say, a smaller church who doesn't have the resources to hire a lot of people, they definitely would want that.
Bro, they got the background singers, they got everything on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, right?
Yeah. yeah, we have this thing called hoop triggers I use to back me up preaching. It just be me. But it got more accepted because you were saying how the church, how would they receive it?
Right.
Before COVID, it was a little, you get a little couple of looks and, why do you need all of that? But after COVID, it's fully accepted because online, everything was being done.
Right.
You was like a one-man band online, and they got so used to that sound now. So now we're back in, they're used to that full sound.
Right. But even, and COVID brought a lot of things to light. Just the fact that everybody was used to see the mega churches on TV and online. That brought it to where it's like now any church could be online. So that did a whole lot. COVID shutting that down, people like realizing like, hey, you better go ahead and live stream.
That's what I was saying, man. A lot of things, a lot of businesses died, a lot of people died, but a lot of things were birthed.
Right.
In COVID too, man. A lot of business birthed in COVID. A lot of new ways and new new ways of doing things were birthed, man.
Yeah. So let me ask y'all, so sound-wise, we already knew that, and again, I think it was more so up north that it was all about the organ, because in the South, they was still playing guitars and stuff at the time, because it was more blues-oriented style. But like with today's technology, are y'all using like a lot of different sounds? Are y'all using like Rhodes or in certain parts of the service just to break up the organ in the acoustic piano?
Oh, definitely, man. Especially on praise and worship. You go to the Rhodes. I barely even use organ unless it's to back up the preacher. Otherwise, I'm into the synthesized sounds and the Rhodes
and the horns.
Horns,
yeah. And what do y'all prefer? A real EB3 or a synth? Because I mean they did a great job of emulating it, but I would think for purists sometimes like, give me the actual organ if I can.
Oh yeah,
I prefer Hammond organ all the time. I mean those other organs do sound good.
Yeah,
but when you get deep chords and you're doing full chords, it's not matched. It's close.
Right,
unless you got one of those little organs and you're using a Leslie.
Right.
If you're using a Leslie, then I'll take it.
Right.
But even then, just the feel in the foot's not big enough. So certain stuff I'm playing, like by memory, I don't have to look down. I'm just playing. But with those little small pedals, I have to look down.
Right.
So I like the big pedals. I like the regular big organ.
Right. And like we were saying earlier, Mark, when you see some of the younger dudes, are they even hip to playing the pedals? Is that something that they do?
Some of them are learning now. Glenn is actually tipping the scale with them, telling them you got to learn how to play this for real and stop faking it. And because they get so used to playing with a bass player that they don't. A lot of these keyboard players don't even play bass.
Right.
And when they're playing, they're just laying chords and doing tricks.
Right.
Because the bass player is doing everything and the guitar player is filling in the other spot. So it sounds full. So just laying chords like that. And these guys, that's what they're used to doing. They if they play without a bass player, they're lost. So Glenn's been pushing these guys like, learn how to play by yourself. Learn how to play the organ. Learn your foot. So you see a lot of these guys are now starting to do that.
Yeah, we have to learn how. I have to learn how. Remember how to play with a bass player. It's a little bit of a challenge for me because I'm so used to playing. I'm still organ drums,
right,
or keyboard drums.
Yeah, but, and it's a different thing because I've seen posts where they making a joke of telling the keyboard player, if there's a bass player there, they was like, "Don't touch these keys right here." I've seen those posts. But again, it depends on who's playing keys because they'll know how to mix what the bass player is playing. Because again, on certain artists, certain records, you hear that the bass player is playing the line and the keyboard's playing is still playing the keys in lower register, and they don't clash because it just becomes another part. But again, that depends on who's doing what. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Well, hey, cuz, hey, look, we're gonna end it right here, man. Yo, I appreciate y'all coming on so much, man.
Oh man, it's a joy, man.
Again,
yes, sir.
you know,
Definitely
I
a pleasure, man.
that y'all came and y'all did that project with me, with Sherry, man. Y'all made all the difference.
Oh, that was fun, man.
It was good, man. That was fun.
All right, but that's it, y'all. Thanks for listening in to another episode of Musician Rewind. We'll catch y'all on the next one. We out.